Good day, scholars. We are today reading lesson 97 in our reading mastery book. Make sure you have your book and your packet with you for the Iditarod Adventures. If you don't have those things ready, press pause for a quick moment. Go grab those two things and we'll get started. All right, we are on lesson 97 today. And just to remind you, as we're working, you saw these in the videos that go with the assignment, but reminder that this is Susan Butcher. She's a real person. She was the first, she entered the Iditarod 17 times, and she finished the race 16 times, and as we've learned, she won the race 4 times. So even though our story, right, is fictional, this is an actual person who was in the Iditarod that many times. And the other one we read about is Libby Riddles. Libby Riddles is also an actual person. She is the first woman to win the Iditarod, and she won in 1985. All right, let's get started on our lessons. So lesson 97, column 1. All of the words in column 1 are compound words. So, scholars, I'm going to give you each part, and then you tell me the whole word. All right, word 1, snow and mobile make, right, snowmobile. Ever and green make, correct, evergreen. Birth and day make, perfect, birthday. 4, check and point make, yes, checkpoint. Remember, a checkpoint is the point or place where officials check to make sure every musher has made it that far in the race. 5, knight and mare, good, nightmare. And 6, handle and bar, perfect, handlebar. Let's go to column 2. Word 1 is compass. What word? Good, compass. A compass is a tool that shows the directions north, south, east, and west. Some compasses have needles, and that needle will always point to the north. Word 2 is peered. What word? Right, peered. When you look at something as hard as you can, you peer at that thing. Right? So if he looked as hard as he could at the mountain, we'd say he peered at the mountain, right? You're really looking and studying it, like you're peering at it, really looking at it. All right, word 3 is the word recently. What word? Right, recently. Word 4 is total. What word? Good, total. Let's go to column 3. Word 1 is beware. Like beware of the dog. What word? Right, beware. Word 2, plunge. What word? Right, plunge. Word 3 is visibility. What word? Right, visibility. And word 4 is scent. We had this word before. Remember, this kind of scent is like the smell of something, right? The scent of the flowers, the scent of the garlic, right? Being put into the spaghetti sauce. The scent. Not the kind of scent like he sent a letter to the students or he found 1 cent on the ground. Right? This kind of scent is the smell of something. Scent. All right, scholars, we're into part B, but I want to give you a quick heads up. With the next couple of stories, you're also going to have some questions to answer. 3 quick questions where you're putting events from the story in order. So as we're reading today, be sure you're really paying close attention to the events that are taking place. And then later, when you do your assignment in the packet, there'll also be 3 questions where you're putting the events in order. Right? What happened first, what happened second, or what happened third. Or you could even think of it as like beginning, middle, and end. right? Just practicing with getting those events in order, and you may use the story to help you do that. All right, let's get started. Our title today is Lost. Chad was lost. The snow had been blowing so hard that he had lost the trail to Rainy Pass. He had an idea of which direction he should be going, and he noticed that the snow was deep. That meant that nobody had been over the snow recently. Right? Does that make sense to everyone? If the snow is deep, he knows no one's been traveling on it, right? It hasn't been like trampled down, right? Flattened by sleds and dogs. Right? The dogs were very tired from plowing through the deep snow, and it was getting dark. In about half an hour, it would be completely dark. Chad didn't know if he was left of the trail or right of the trail, so he wasn't sure which way he should head to find the trail. Right? Think about that, scholars. If you're lost, you don't know if you should go left to try to get to where you need to be, or if you should go right. If you go in the wrong direction, you're going to actually be getting even further away than from where you should be. He decided that the best thing to do was not to find the trail, but to find the checkpoint. He turned on the light that was on his hat. He took out his compass and looked at the direction his sled was heading. It was going too far to the north. Chad knew that this part of the trail went almost straight west on its way to Rainy Pass. He also noticed that the slopes he was going over were too steep. So, two reasons, right, that he knew where he was too far north. Did you catch both of those? So, this part of the trail really goes straight west, and he did not go straight west. And the slopes are too steep, right? This area should not be as steep as it is. Both those clues told him that he should just turn left and head straight west. That's what he did. Okay. So, which way did he decide he should be heading? Right, west. And he figured out he had gone too far in which direction? Right, north. So he's turning and going more to the west. So everyone, let's pause for just a moment. Hold your spot. We're at a half hour later. So hold that spot. All right. Let's take a look at that map. So find the place on the map where Chad is now. All right. His trail is that blue line. Right, so did you follow the blue line? Are you kind of at the end of the blue line? Can you see there how he went too far north? Because the trail he should be on is that red line. So he's turning to the west. Right? He's making a left, and then we'll be trying to head toward that checkpoint. That checkpoint is the box. See that box, everyone? All right, let's continue reading. A half hour later, in almost total darkness, the wind died down. The blowing snow settled from the air. Chad peered to the north to see where the mountains were. Yes, he said. The mountains were where they should be. That meant that Chad was going in the right direction. Right? So now he can look out to the north and see the mountains, and he knows he's heading in the correct direction. A moment later, he looked ahead, and he could see the lights from the lodge at Rainy Pass. Yes, he repeated. Yes. He could also see the trail. It was just a little bit to his right. The dogs seemed to pep up. They could see the lights and smell the food from the checkpoint. Mush! Chad yelled, and the dogs pulled hard. Whew, you guys are lucky, he said to his team. If you had just an ordinary musher, You might have had to spend all night on the trail. Tonight, you'll have a real treat. So the treat is that they get to be at the checkpoint and not stuck on the trail. So does he think he's better than just a regular old ordinary musher? Yes, right? Because if he was just a regular old musher, they might have been stuck and still lost and then had to stay overnight out on the trail in that weather. Yikes. The wind started up again, blowing swirls of snow and making it impossible for Chad to see anything but snow. Come on, guys, he said to his team. The sooner you reach those lights, the sooner we'll be able to rest in real comfort. About 20 minutes later, Chad entered the checkpoint at Rainy Pass. A lot of people were there, and most of them looked worried. One of the first questions that the officials asked Chad was, "Did you see any other teams?" "No," Chad said. "Well, 2 teams are missing, number 58 and number 60. Chad explained how he may have passed them without knowing it. I lost the trail for a while. I went too far north, so I cut back and went west. How was the visibility out there? Most of the time, I couldn't see my lead dogs. Eee. So, scholars, how many mushers did we just hear are missing? How many? Yes, 2. All right, scholars, I'm going to have you read the rest of this to yourself, so be sure to press pause. We're at this paragraph, just past a little bit past the blue star, as Chad was unpacking. So find that spot, read the rest of this to yourself, and then I do have a couple of questions for you. All right, here are my questions. First, when the officials decided they were going out to search for those 2 missing mushers, what vehicles were they going to be using? Right, snowmobiles. All right. And then, jumping ahead further to the end of our story, when was it that Chad finally saw Siri Carlson? Yes, the next morning. And what had happened to her? Right. There's a variety of ways you could have said it. Did you say something about her getting lost? Her sled rolled down the hill, right, and broke a runner. 2 of her dogs were hurt, right? Those were all part of what had happened to her. So not great for Siri Carlson. So she must have been pretty brave, right? And then the picture at the end of the story, we see Chad and Siri Carlson right outside the lodge at Rainy Pass that next morning. Right? And then my last question, what did Siri have to do before she could leave the checkpoint? There were a few things, right? She had to fix her sled, and she had to arrange for her injured dogs to be flown somewhere, right, for help. So, scholars, remember, now you're going to join me at the video that goes with the assignment for today. Plus, remember, there's a second assignment, a quick one, where you'll see 3 events from the story that you'll need to put in order, right? What happened first, what happened in the middle, second, and what happened third toward the end. Go back into this story and look at it, right? Help you get those into order. Use that as evidence. All right. Thanks for joining me, scholars, and good luck with your 2 assignments today.